For her, for them, for us.
We're doing it for her, which is for the future generations. We're doing it for them, for everybody that has allowed us to be who we are right now. We're doing it for us too, because we love our country, we love playing football. We feel like we belong on the field.
Oh, what a goal that is!
Their passion and their pride to play for Wales.
So excited for this campaign. We want to qualify, and I'm ready. I'm so ready.
For her,
for them, for us.
That's the new motto from Wales for this 2023 Women's World Cup campaign. It's a new era with a new manager at the helm. Wales women against Kazakhstan, the first qualifier, live from Parc y Scarlets. Good evening, lovely to be back with you here in the rain, and it's lovely also to have the fans, the Red Wall. Yes, they are back with us, excited, all generations joining us. And also joining me in the studio, two former Wales internationals, Nia Jones and Katie Sherwood. Good to see you both.
you too.
And happy new campaign. Here we go again. But the big question, Katie, are we over the disappointment of that last campaign when we nearly made it to the playoffs?
I would say so. You know, there's so much buzz and excitement about this new campaign. They're relishing this opportunity to put the wrongs right this time. And, you know, I'm really excited to see what this team can produce this time round.
And in a way, Nia, do they have to bottle that disappointment, use it as a catalyst going forward?
Yeah, you have to. When you go through tough losses like that and narrow misses, you know, you say at the time, we're going to learn from it, we're going to come back stronger. And hopefully, like Katie said, this is their time to do it now, and hopefully it's third time lucky.
Kazakhstan then, the first opponents. What do we know about them? Because it should be on paper an easy win for Wales, but they've been stressing all week in camp that there's no such thing these days.
This is international football. There's definitely no easy fixtures. But Wales will just be focusing on themselves. You know, they'll have a game plan. There's a pressure on them. We expect a Wales win tonight, and I think it's a pressure that they're welcoming.
Oh, good. Well, we'll find out soon enough if they'll get that win. Before we look at the team then, let's have a look at the group that Wales are in this time out. And the top seeds, well, France, joined by Slovenia, Greece, Kazakhstan and Estonia. And some early results from this evening. 2 games have already been played. 3 points to France after they hammered Greece 10-0, and a win for Slovenia as well against Estonia. Right then, this is the first competitive match for the new woman at the helm, Gemma Granger, who succeeds Jane Ludlow. But what do we know about her? Let's meet the manager, shall we?
I've been coaching now for 22 years. People are going to work out my age if I tell you how old I was when I started, but I'll just say 22 years. So a long time. For me, I've coached from age 5 to senior international players. So my journey started off in grassroots, and then I built my way to work at an elite level. And I've been working in international football for the last 11 years. I'm very fortunate to have been to 7 major tournaments, includes the Senior Women's Euros as an assistant coach with England, and then I've head coached at every level internationally, and also been to European Championships as a head coach as well. So my biggest hope is to bring that international experience into this role. I think for me it was really important that I built on the foundations that Jane laid. It wasn't about ripping everything up, it was about building on what was currently here, because we have some incredibly talented players. We want to make sure those girls have the freedom to be the best they can be. My random fact would be that I was in a Tesco TV advert as a body double for a female footballer. For me, I'm an ambassador for women's football, first of all, so my ambition has always been to be that female representing. And when the Wales job came up, I knew a few people in the association. The values really aligned with my values. That's the main reason. So the family, the respect, the excellence. The moment that I stepped into the building here, I felt that, and that was a big part of my decision, because women and girls football is a huge passion of mine. Our ambition is to qualify for a major tournament, and my number one priority is to bring my experience to help us to achieve that.
Yes, she is very experienced, and this is her first team for her first competitive match. Practically had a full-strength squad to pick from, And Nia, what do you make of what she's done with that one?
Yeah, I think it's a familiar 11 for us. I think, you know, what we can see there, 4-1-4-1, I think it'll look very different when we do have the ball. I imagine Roberts and Rowe will offer good width down the flanks for us. That midfield of Fishlock, Ingle and James is honestly world class, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Harding on the left and Holland on the right can support Kaylee Green up top, and just like Katie mentioned earlier, have more bodies committing themselves forward.
She's had about 6 months in the job. I'm just wondering, 3 friendlies as well against some top opposition. Can we expect to see a different style from her? They've been talking about how they play with the ball, without the ball. They want to be more of an attacking force.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've seen in those friendlies how Granger wants them to work with the ball, look after the ball better, and use that possession to create goals. You know, in the past we've been happy to sit behind the ball, but you can see here we've got numbers in the box and committing our better players like Jessica Fishlock and Sophie Ingle, our most influential players. We want those players on the ball and in the opposition box.
Well, look, only a few minutes to go now until kick-off. Let's get the final thoughts of Gemma. She's been talking to our reporter, Laura Kenyon.
Well, Gemma, the start of a new campaign, the aim the same, qualification for her first major finals. How are you feeling?
Excited, happy to be here. Yeah, you know, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, the start of the journey. We wanted to build on the previous campaigns and really start this one strong, and that's what we're here to do.
Kazakhstan, an opposition probably expected to beat at this present time. They do pack players behind the ball though, so how do you approach this one?
We approach it in the way that we approach every game. We're going to be better at being us. We're going to make sure that we play to our strengths, and we're very confident that that'll be enough.
How special is it going to be today, given that we've got fans back for the first time?
Yeah, it's going to be really special. I said previously I went to the men's game last week, and just to be in around the fans there, I'm so excited to see them today, hear the anthem, and just really hoping they can get behind us and give us that extra edge.
Gemma, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's have another look then at her style, Gemma, what she's bringing to this side. Nia, what else have you picked out for us?
Well, I think, you know, we're used to seeing Wales teams that are difficult to break down and difficult to beat, but actually, as we can see in this clip, is a perfect example. As soon as we've lost the ball, people know their roles, people know their jobs. Led by Jess Fishlock, she's busting a gut, oldest player on the pitch. She applies pressure to the person in possession straight away. That forces an inside ball. The next player's in trying to press. Then the next 2 players are in trying to press, and eventually this will happen, is we'll eventually win the ball back, and then we can start attacking again. Really high energy. It's going to be energy zapping for the whole game, but I think they can do it. And here, this is what we want to see in the final third. Quick play, brilliant little 1-2 here from James. We want to see her higher up the pitch, and we want to see her getting shots on target like that.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, isn't it, that change. You've mentioned some of the players. I mentioned the fact that we've got practically a full-strength squad here. Let's talk about Anghara James. She's one that's gone to America to play. Does she come back now to this Wales camp a better player?
Absolutely, you know, she's such an influential player for us, and testing yourself against the best in the world and not just going there, you know, to make up the numbers. She's starting in these, you know, games in America, and it'll definitely add to her game.
Another player who's coming back with a little bit of a swagger, possibly, Sophie Ingle, Captain Fantastic. She was at the Olympic Games, no medal as she wanted, but does she come back to Wales having gained some experiences, a better player possibly, some new ideas?
Yeah, she's not that swaggy. She's a bit sassy, but she's embarrassed. She's very down to earth. But yeah, I mean, what an experience for us as Welsh football fans to see her representing GB at the Olympics. And you know, she just makes it look so easy. Wherever she's put on the pitch, she's rubbing it with the world's best. And yeah, we're just buzzing. She's on our side.
Well, girls, thanks very much for your thoughts. And here we go. Captain Fantastic Sophie Ingle leading her side at the start of a new campaign for Wales women. Can they qualify for their first major finals? The journey starts here. Your commentary team for this one, former Wales striker Gwennan Harris and Simon Davis.
Thank you, Catherine. Yes, a new campaign and still very much a new look Wales under Gemma Granger. And a new team slogan as well. For her, for them, for us. The message being that qualification is as much for the Trailblazers as it is for the current crowd. Hayley Ladd returns to the Wales team after the hamstring injury which kept her out of the June friendly against Scotland. Kerry Holland is also in, missing out Josie Green and Carrie Jones, who dropped to the bench. Kazakhstan ranked 82 in the world. Well, they had a miserable European qualifying campaign last time around, losing 12-0 to France at one stage. Most of the players feature for the domestic league, and to beat Kazakhstan, Svetlana Botnikova is the main threat up front. Sophie Ingle was the only Welsh player to represent Team GB at the recent Tokyo Olympics. Unfortunately, the squad suffered quarter-final disappointment to Australia. And tonight's match officials are Polish, led by referee Monika Mulaczyk. Well, Kerry Holland is back in the team. This is her third senior Wales cap, and she'll be hoping that this evening will be the occasion when she scores her first Wales goal. Well, Gemma Granger has brought a renewed enthusiasm, perhaps, a renewed style with her assistants, Lauren Dykes and Richard Thomas. But there is still that togetherness in this Wales team, Gwennan Harris. But that Q word, qualification, easier said than done.
Certainly is easier said than done, but you would expect with the group, with Wales ranked second, for them to at least reach a playoff place. As you said there, in terms of the togetherness, there's always been a great togetherness within the Welsh squads, but I think with the introduction of Gemma Granger, with these new slogans, for us, for them, for her, there's just been a renewed enthusiasm. You can see that they're more together than ever.
Well, with players like Natasha Harding, we saw Jess Fishlock in shot there. For Gemma Granger, it's pretty much a full-strength team available.
Yeah, it is, and I think she said that prior to this camp as well. It's the first time that she's named a fully fit squad. Obviously, Hannah Kane was named in the squad, but had to withdraw with injury, but the reintroduction of Hayley Ladd is a huge boost for Wales this evening.
It's a rainy night in Llanelli. Welsh players and staff take a knee in a stand against racism. Their Kazakh counterparts have chosen not to. So Wales to get things underway in Llanelli. And the aim is simple, to reach Australia and New Zealand for the 2023 World Cup. And it all starts here in West Wales, Gwennan, against Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it does, and you expect Wales to have a huge majority of possession. Something that we're you know, maybe not used to as much. We've seen a little bit more in the last campaign, and that expectation now that's come from the last World Cup qualifying campaign when Wales took it to the very last game against England. Can Wales build on that and get used to the expectation of having ball and have to break teams down? Like, they'll have to be patient this evening.
Rhiannon Roberts, and from right back. Almost an attack from right wing for Natasha Harding. Gemma Granger keen to use width. Yeah, and she wants to see players higher up. I think Nia and Katie talked about that prior to the game starting. In terms of getting players in more advanced positions, posing more of a threat and getting them in between lines as well, and playing to our strengths. We've got a world-class midfield with Ingle, James and Fishlock, trying to get them on the ball and be more prominent in those areas. Zarat Sever's goal kick, not the most convincing, and Harding's on the chase. Safety first for Kazakhstan and put over. And the first throw-in for Wales. And what a chance to really launch this into the penalty area from Rhiannon Roberts. One short to Harding. Option is Ingle. Rowe. Ingle playing predominantly in her favoured midfield position. I've always seen that for Wales. Harding on that back post. Well, it's only taken a minute and a half. Wales have had the first opportunity. Yeah, and it was great movement by Tash Harding as well. I think we always knew Kerry Holland was going to come back in onto her right foot for the in-swinger. It was maybe a little bit, would have been a bit more pace on it likely, but you could see then the movement of Harding away first to then come in front to try and generate pace. I think, to be honest, if she just tried to direct that down and use the pace on the grass this evening, the Kazakhstan keeper would have been in trouble. Well, Kazakhstan did lose 12-0 to France last December in the final European qualifying game. That's an indication of the scoreline we could expect tonight, but Wales will certainly be hoping for goals. Good work from Holland. Fishlock in the middle, and Green's header. Well, already at this early stage of the game, we're seeing Wales peppering that Kazakhstan goal. And another great ball by Kerry Holland, who strives into the space, this time on her left foot. I think Kaylee Green's just a little bit unsure there whether to maybe take the touch with her chest, or obviously she went for it first time, it was just a little bit too low for her going with her head. But that all derived from the fact that Wales have got players in higher positions to press Kazakhstan higher up the pitch and win possession of the ball back. Kaylee Green again of Brighton, putting pressure on the goalkeeper Zarat Sever. Opted for the long clearance. And Wales showing their intention early on. Here's Ingle of Team GB in Tokyo. Rowe makes the run for Holland. Well, already we're seeing Wales looking to get behind this Kazakh defence. Yeah, and they're going to have to use the width as well. You know, you can see that Kazakhstan, when the ball is on one side of the pitch, they're really overloading areas, trying to force Wales into errors, make it tight so that they can't get out. So Wales need to use possession of the ball well, sensibly, need to use it quickly. Rowe, great run. She's still going. Rowe opts to shoot and not cross. Perhaps it should have been the latter. Definitely the wrong option there for me, Simon. I think she just needed to keep it on the floor. You know, great run, and this is what we get from Rachel Rowe. You know, she joins in, she's great with 2 feet. Brings it back, but yeah, just put that across. You can see the run that Tash Harding's made towards the front post, and she would have had a tap in there if she just picked her head up a little bit earlier. Well, Rachel Rowe was in charge of the pre-match playlist here at the Parker Scarlets. An eclectic range of music, I should say. Well, you were certainly enjoying it because your head was bopping along. Yeah, Justin Timberlake and then Katrina and the Waves, you can't beat it. Here's Kerry Holland. Well, I haven't spoken to Gemma Granger in the build-up to this qualifying campaign and these couple of games that Wales are facing. The word style did come up an awful lot, and there does seem to be a swagger about Wales so far, but they've got to be careful not to give the ball away, which is what they've done here. run from Bortnikova. This near side, and Satya Galeva. Good play from Rowe. And defensively, the first test for Wales tonight.
Yeah, just very sloppy in possession there, you know, trying to play a square pass without looking. At international level, you can't do that, but numbers got back well.
James, enjoying life in North Carolina. And that's a ball over to Harding. Good first touch, Kaylee Green. Well, she took it on her left foot. And you expected her to hit the target with the right.
Yeah, that's great play from Natasha Harding. That's twice she's made that run now down the right wing. But what she does well here is when she gets past the left back there, she changes the angle. She makes sure that she changes the angle of the ball, because it would be very easy to pull the ball across where the players are. But she ensures that she brings it back towards the penalty spot. Kaylee Green had made a great move as well into that area. She's got to hit the target there. As you're playing centre forward, you have to ensure that you're hitting the target. And this is where, you know, Wales needs to get better. You know, so pleased we've created 4 chances already. But we've got to start putting them away.
11 goals so far for her country, Kaylee Green, and will play a big part in Gemma Granger's plans, I'm sure, but one does wonder. She should have perhaps hit that with her right foot, but Wales are having chances, and that's the important thing. Of course, when you see France scoring an awful lot of goals against Greece in this group, you do start to wonder, for a Welsh point of view, are they battling for second already? But it's early days, we haven't barely kicked the ball yet. And just a reminder that if you do finish in the top 2, there is the opportunity of a playoff position. Well, that's a long way away. Wales need to get the win here tonight. Rachel Rowe enjoying a lot of freedom. Tried the through ball, but it was snuffed out by Carolina. Green. Fishlock's in the middle. Here is Fishlock. Straight to the goalkeeper. Had to really stretch the neck muscles there, but did get power behind the header.
What she did very well there is trying to direct the ball down, using the pace. As I said earlier, I think possibly Tash Harding should have early on. You could see Jess Fishlock is trying to get that ball down onto the floor to use the pace of it, which obviously will make it a lot difficult down then for the goalkeeper.
Almost with Rhiannon Roberts of Liverpool, Ingle of Chelsea, and Rachel Rowe already having a very busy day.
What I would say is so pleasing. You know, we played Kazakhstan in the last qualifying campaign, and we scraped 2 1-0 wins.
Harding's cross. Oh, sorry, it was towards Harding, and Kelly Green had gone into that wide position.
Yeah, just going back, we scraped 2 1-0 wins in those games, and we didn't create a lot of opportunities at all. Well, already we've had 5 good, clear opportunities on goal.
Magnificent ball to Green. Harding waiting. It's a corner, the first for Wales, and perhaps the first of many. Wales on an attacking front, looking very impressive.
Yeah, and you can see they're trying to utilise the space in behind, and they've done that so successfully already. What I'd like to see there is, as Natasha Harding made that run 2 minutes ago, and best to get to the front post, she needs to be the same as committed to trying to get to the goal as well, because she just hung back a little bit there, which made it easy then for the Kazakhstan defenders.
Well, the Polish referee has seen something that she doesn't like, but stop Rachel Rowe in her tracks. Here comes the corner from Rowe. Evans' header! Cleared away. Well, Wales are doing everything but score. Well, it was a great delivery from Rachel Rowe, and Gemma Evans with the most powerful of headers from close range.
Yeah, she does well there to escape a player, but again, just try and direct that header down, use the pace of the floor.
It's another corner. And this time Rachel Rowe using her ability from the left-hand side. It will be an in-swinger. It's not a bad one. Good header, great save. Fishlock. Well, Wales, how have they not scored? You have to ask that question. It was a great save, you have to give credit. But Wales are completely dominating at the moment.
That was a superb save. You've got to give credit where it's due. You know, point blank effort. Great reactions, but unfortunately the ball just not falling for Wales in those areas.
Lovely touch from Ingle onto the left boot. Well, she is capable. We've seen her score spectacular goals, but what a save from Saratsveva. First from Gemma Evans, and then we saw from close range as well.
That's a really good save, especially his starting position is quite questionable. She's behind the line nearly.
Well, Fishlock on the follow-up, and I don't know if the Wales...
But to be honest, you could even question was the ball over the line, because the goalkeeper's starting position was so deep.
I was about to say the Wales bench will certainly ask questions, I'm sure, but take nothing away from the instinctive save from Saratseva. I don't think she knew too much about the rebound either, but she did well. Well, here's another view of it, Gwenan.
So it's hard, isn't it? You know, you're unsure, especially from that angle, but as I said, his starting position is so deep. Question marks over whether that ball actually crossed the line or not.
Well, Wales are switching the play with such confidence at the moment. James bringing it down. Here's Hayley Ladd, who writes a column on the BBC Sport Wales website, worth checking out. And has talked about the buzz in the camp at the moment. Kerry Holland, Rowe. Taking a touch, Ingle, back to Rowe. Well, this is confident stuff. Roberts, towards Harding, comes out to James. Surely it is a matter of time before that net bulges.
Yeah, and you can see the preparation work that Wales have done. They've obviously been watching clips of Kazakhstan, because in the build-up, long before actually this effort, it was quite a wild effort by Angharad James. The movement of Rachel Rowe, she comes from the left-back position, drives inside just to take away that defender, to create space then for Fishlock and Holland, and then is in that central area because they've overloaded it, enabling herself to get on the ball again. She was a key, she was integral to that move then.
Certainly enjoying a lot of time on the ball on this Wales wing. Fishlock driving forward. Holland. Rowe. Again, the switch of play. Wales showing great ability on the ball. Have they got the final product? Ingle with the run. Well, with respect to Kazakhstan, I think they perhaps wouldn't have expected to have been pegged back this much at the early stage. Wales have been dominant.
I've got to disagree with you there, Simon. I think, you know, I think you look at Wales' squad, you look at how they've performed, especially in those last 3 games under Gemma Granger, that Denmark result, the performance. I think they will have expected, and that's why we're seeing them playing in, you know, in quite in a deep area, but in a quite a negative formation as well.
Shaver's given it away. Ingle, James. Green in a wide position. And plenty in the middle. Green's cross is a low one. Is it 1-0? Another great save from Kerry Holland this time. Well, Saratseva has kept her team in it. Instinctive goalkeeping again. Back to Holland. Ingle. Kazakhstan begging for mercy here. It has been relentless attacking, and they're just happy to get the ball anywhere.
Oh wow, I had my hands in the air then, because I was sure that was going. I was ready to celebrate. I was sure as soon as it was dropping to Kerry Holland, I thought it was going in. She's done well. She's made that run off her wing. She's ensuring she's in the box. Yeah, and what she does well is to make sure that she leans over the ball there. She directs it down into the ground. It's so easy to lean back there, as we saw with the previous shot from Angharad James, and that's why we see the height on the shot then.
Another ball for Kazakhstan to contend with, and goalkeeper just clutches it in her hands after Harding's header this time.
Yeah, that's difficult. That's a difficult opportunity for Harding, you know, to try and generate power. on the header when it's quite a loopy cross coming a bit behind her.
Well, Irina Saratseva plays her football in the domestic league in Kazakhstan for Beek. Gemma Granger there, appointed in March. Vastly experienced at the English FA, worked with a number of development teams over a course of about 11 years. But is very much a Welsh woman now. And seeing her getting involved in the anthem was great as well. Rowe. It's got the option of Holland. Well, Holland was free on this near side. It is with Ingle. What a pass. What a pass from Ingle. And Kazakhstan just cannot cope. Kaylee Green hits it. What a goal. Magnificent. Magnificent. Well, it has been coming. Kaylee Green on the turn. And it's Wales who take the lead infinitely.
That's a great strike from Kaylee Green. What she does so well here. She takes the shot early. We've seen Santsova in the goal make some great saves already in this half. But she was quite unsighted, and she was obviously, you know, not ready for that shot, because Kaylee Green, as soon as it comes to her, she knows she's got that half a yard. She turns quickly, you know, and just unleashes, you know, powerful. Again, gets her body over the ball as it comes in. It's originally a mistake, but she's alive to it, and she just takes it early. Oh, no chance there. Absolute great finish, and she actually scored a very good goal on the weekend for Brighton as well, from distance, brimming with confidence, and you can see that in the way that she's, you know, she's so confident, so ready to hit that. And Wales needed that, because we were just getting a little bit, I'd say, impatient in possession.
And it could get even better. Holland this time. Another corner. Wales showing no mercy. Kazakhstan defensively have had to work so hard, but there was no stopping that from Kaylee Green, and Kerry Holland coming close as well. Good to see Gwenan.
Yeah, it's obviously, you know, it's as I said before, it's just in the last campaign when we had two very, very narrow victories, one goal to nil, quite frustrating, didn't create many opportunities. To see how many opportunities we've created in this first 20 minutes, and hopefully, you know, we can go on to get scores like France and put pressure on them.
Rowe with the corner towards Evans and Roberts. Keeper manages to get it away to Holland. And safety first from Kazakhstan, who are struggling to cope with Wales's attacking force, namely Kaylee Green. And for the Brighton player, her 12th Welsh goal, and one to remember certainly.
Oh, superb ball across by Sophie Ingle as well. She do that on either foot, but yeah, you just see there, you know, and that's what you want as a forward player. You know, I'm sure Gemma Granger would be so pleased. You always talk about things shooting on sight. You know, when you get that half a yard, to be positive, to have a go. Obviously, Tash Harding's position in there, you know, is just restricting the view, but yeah, take nothing away from the finish.
Harding over on the right-hand side this time. Rowe. Won by Ladd. And
what I'd love to see now is Wales going for the kill. You know, maybe in the past we've maybe got one, and it's taken us a little bit of time against opposition like this, taking us time to get the second goal, third goal. We have to get that second, third goal straight away, kill that game off.
Well, you do feel for the Kazakh goalkeeper. Saratseva was... She displayed a number of good saves, but there was no way you were going to stop that one. And Kaylee Green was unsighted. There was even a nutmeg as well. Kazakhstan. I suppose the pressure is off Wales in the sense that they have the lead. And that's the important thing, that first goal that you can build on. Obviously, can't be complacent, and Sapgaleva. A rare attack for Kazakhstan now. Karolina. Well, good pressing from both Rowe and Holland as well. Carolina has stayed down. And the flag has stayed down. It's a good move. And eventually, Nurasheva's shot means a rare touch for Laura O'Sullivan. Carolina's back on her feet, it's good to see, but she is indicating perhaps that she injured her arm there. James. Wales mixing up with a long ball to Green.
Yeah, we've seen that quite a lot already, haven't we, Simon? As I said, you know, it's something that you can tell the Welsh team have been preparing for. They've obviously watched video clips on where, you know, that's a wild effort there, isn't it? You know, on where they can utilise their strengths against the Kazakhstan weaknesses. And in the last couple of games, we've seen Wales trying to play through the thirds a lot, use Sophie Ingle and Hannah James, Jess Fishlock, and go through. But at times, you know, we're very happy to go direct.
We see some of the home nations in action tonight. England 1, North Macedonia 0. Same score with Scotland at Hungary. Northern Ireland 2, Luxembourg 0. Next up for Wales, of course, next Tuesday, Estonia. And the team to beat, France. I know there's Slovenia as well, but France very much the top dogs in this group. But Wales with a statement of their own so far. And this is Gemma Evans this time, out towards Harding. Fishlock with a touch. Tried to thread the pass through. Fishlock thought it was a handball. The referee agrees.
Yeah, and the movement of Fishlock made that. Sometimes staying still can just get you that 5 yards that you need. And she's so experienced in that position, just off Kaylee Green, that number 10 role, attacking midfield. You could see everybody running to the side of her, expecting the ball to go out to Tash Harding on the wing. She just stays still. And then a great ball into a great turn as well. And she's just looking to thread the ball through to Kaylee Green.
Yet another test for the goalkeeper, Saratseva. And the distance is ideal, Gwennon Harris. The angle perhaps a bit too acute, maybe. Well, would you shoot from here?
Oh, I certainly would. I would have been
I know the answer to that.
Fighting with Fishlock for it probably at the time, but I actually think it would be more suited to a left footer here, maybe someone like Gemma Evans. She's the only natural left-footed player in the team.
There's Rachel Rowe. Scored 2 goals for her country. Both against Belarus, in fact. Can she get one against Kazakhstan? We wait for the referee to blow a whistle. And can Rachel Rowe make it 2-0? It was always rising. And I think you were right, Gwen, and it probably favoured a left footer.
Yeah, it did. You could tell there's 5 in the wall there. I think she's trying to come back across goal, trying to take starts over by off guard really, but you need a lot more pace on it in terms of curling it. She just seemed to drive through it instead of coming around it at that time.
Well, tough conditions in West Wales this evening. Roberts with the throw. Green doesn't win the throw, but it has been one-way traffic. You can't get away from that.
Yeah, it certainly has, and you expect that, as I said. Wales brimming with confidence, playing with a lot more, attacking freedom under Gemma Granger with the tweak in the system. And they're just the way that it started as well. Obviously, when you get a good start like that, it just builds confidence, builds momentum.
Well, slippery conditions, and with that in mind on this lush surface at Tarka Scarlets, maybe worth having a pot shot from outside of the area. We've seen plenty of that so far from Wales. Rowe tracking back, has given the ball away. And Ingle, the personification of calm. And it's over to Holland. Rowe again. Wales have earned the right to just keep the ball as they're doing. Gemma Evans. Roberts. It's free-flowing stuff now from Wales. Harding went early for the cross, and the keeper almost fooled. Well, whether that was intentional, I'm not sure, but Zaratseva had to be careful. And Tash Harding almost scored the most spectacular of goals.
Yeah, she's had a few of them in her time as well. I don't think she's shooting there, if I'm honest. I think she is trying to wrap her foot around the ball and reach for Kerry Holland at the far post, but the keeper was alert again.
Well, full credit to the Kazakhstan goalkeeper, Zaratseva. Had it not been for her, then Wales would be 2, 3, maybe even 4 up. They do have a corner. Rowe with the delivery. Not the best. Green back to Ingle. Ladd. Looking for Green again. Header in towards Holland, who had made the run in. Out to Roberts. Well, they're all calling for it in the middle. In it comes towards Gemma Evans. Another miss. Another header from the Wales defender.
Yeah, again, wants to try and get the ball down there where possible. I do think she was under good pressure, good defensive pressure. I mean, she was claiming a corner here. She's quite sure that this came off the back, but you know, that's what we want to see. We want to see Gemma Evans attacking.
Well, it should have been a corner, Gwenan, on second viewing, but it is a goal kick. Ingle trying to keep hold of it. Satgaleva. Good skill from Fishlock, and Rowe will help it on its way. And we'd forgotten about Laura O'Sullivan. She's had very little to do. Roberts has made the run.
I think Nia Jones is standing by, and I just love to ask her, Nia, just how impressive you've been with the movement of the Wales attacking players off the ball.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be a defender for Kazakhstan tonight, because who'd you pick up? You know, you got 3 pacey forwards in Harding, Holland and Green, who we know we can't leave free headers with in the box because of their aerial prowess, and then Kaylee Green goes and converts the hardest chance of the game. So then when you've got Fishlock joining in and Rowe has got a really free role that you highlighted earlier, you know, it's when one person makes a run, there's somebody else filling in, and I think that's what's really exciting in this game so far, and Kazakhstan just can't cope with it. I would, however, like to see us make more of the areas out wide. I think there's loads of space out there for Harding and Holland, especially. With Holland, we know she likes to cut in, so we really need to create those overloads and have somebody attacking the overlap outside of us so we can create those opportunities.
Yeah, it's been relentless, the attacking from Wales, and you were saying there, I wonder if Wales could do with a second, maybe just to settle things down. I know they're in complete control, but 1-0 is always a dangerous scoreline.
It is, and this is what I'm saying about just taking us to the next level. We can see that we're playing, as I said, with more attacking freedom, more movement. But to get to that next level now, we have to be ruthless, we have to be clinical. You know, we've wasted quite a lot of opportunities. Give credit to Zaratseva in the goal. Oh, she's made some superb saves, but got to take those chances and kill the game off early.
The new Chief Executive of the Football Association of Wales. Keeping dry, or doing his best to keep dry. Here's Green. In towards James. He spotted Ingle. And she spotted Harding. Lovely, lovely goal for 2-0. Natasha Harding spotted the space. And Wales in complete control now.
That is a great finish by Natasha Harding. One touch to open up her body. She knows exactly what she wants to do. Second touch across her body with her left foot. No hesitancy at all. and right into the corner. You know, no chance for Saltsova, who's been outstanding in this first half. You just see, you know, the movement there. She's pointed to Sophie Ingle. That first touch opens her body on the half turn, then the confidence to take it straight away with her left foot. Great finish.
Silky football from Wales, in off the post. And Natasha Harding making it Wales 2, Kazakhstan 0. Good to see Gemma Granger leading the applause there as well. Well, that is the second goal that we talked about, that Nia talked about as well. And it should calm a few nerves, if there were any.
Yeah, and again, it's building off that now and being ruthless, going for the third, going for the fourth, and trying to get, obviously, as many goals as possible, but to put pressure on the French team. You know, we've seen that their result already. They've hammered Greece 10-0 away from home. If we want to be going to the World Cup, we want to be competing with them, and we need to put the pressure on them.
James striding forward. Nice pass to Holland. Green has made her run. Harding in the middle. Green opts for James. Drops to Holland. Wales after that third goal and getting close.
Do you know, I don't mind that at all. You know, obviously a bit biased here as a former forward player, but you know, when you get an opportunity and it's sitting up in front of you there, you know, why not when you're 2 goals up? There's no one making a great movement in front of you. Again, just technically, she's just leaning back over the ball there, and that's why we see it rise so much. She just needs to lean over it, make sure she gets her body on top of the ball to ensure that she keeps it down.
Gary Holland of Liverpool spent time in Kansas as a young lady when she was in college in America.
She is a great addition to this squad. I thought her debut against Kansas was outstanding. We actually missed her in the game against Scotland when she was injured, and you know, I think the performance she put in that game against Scotland has, you know, put her down as a starter straight away. She came in, she was brave in possession, she was direct, but she worked hard off the ball as well. She offers a lot in behind, but can hold the ball up. She can get into good areas in between lines as well.
But over, putting the ball out for James. They have had a torrid time of it, Kazakhstan. In the Llanelli rain, Wales have been unrelenting. And Gemma Granger and Richard Thomas will be delighted with what they've seen, I'm sure. And the Roberts are waiting to take the throw, but an off-the-ball incident, it seems. Well, Kaylee Green is down in a heap here.
Yeah, I think it was just a tangle of legs more than anything. It wasn't on purpose by either of them.
Myasnikova, the Kazakh captain, colliding with Green. Here's the replay, Gwenan. Well, clumsy more than anything from both players, I think.
Yeah, they're just running across, but you do see that the back leg of the captain actually just come across there, and I'd like to see that again.
Myasnikova is receiving treatment. And, well, speaking of injuries, I'm sorry to see Hannah Kane, who was a new inclusion in the Wales squad but had to withdraw because of a foot injury, Gwenan.
Yeah, disappointing obviously for her to be called up and then to have to withdraw. Another great addition, you know, Kerry Holland at the start of the campaign with, or start of the reign, sorry, Gemma Granger reign, and Hannah Kane will bring a lot in these forward areas as well, where, you know, in the past we have needed a bit more strength, a bit more depth. You know, she's a really exciting player, so hopefully, you know, that's not a long-term injury. It's one that we can get her in for the next camp with, because I think she, as I said, she'll be a great addition. And playing, you know, she's playing in the top level of the WSL. She'll be used to the intensity needed to succeed at this level. Obviously, Gemma Granger knows it very well as well from her days in the England under 17s. Prior to that, she was with Wales under 16s and 17s too.
Well, hopefully not too serious for Kaylee Green. And Myasnikova limping her way. That might be the end of her evening, but Kayleigh Green, from a Welsh point of view, seems to be okay, and I don't think Gemma Granger looked too concerned. And she really is hobbling, so I think it may have to be an early change for Kazakhstan. There's the coach, Kalyan Petkov. And it was a nothing challenge, really, and if anything, I mean, if what you were saying, if there was a flailing leg, then maybe Kayleigh Green was lucky not to have been as injured as this Kazakhstani captain. Well, the visitors temporarily down to 10. Here's James. A rare misplaced pass from Anhara James, who's living an American adventure at the moment. Moving to North Carolina. Kayleigh Green back on, by the way, that's good to see. But Anhara James enjoying life in North Carolina.
She certainly is, and you know, it takes time to adapt, you know, to a new country and a new league as well. And I think, you know, the intensity of the league out there is something that she's relishing playing in. You know, training in that environment day to day, and you know, Wales will certainly see the benefits from that physically, you know, technically, but in terms of her confidence as well.
And Jess Fishlock, who's been instrumental in making Anhara James feel at home out in the States, wins the throw here. Anhara said that she helped with setting up the Wi-Fi and all the important things that you need when you move into a new place. And of course, Jess knows all about living in different countries, played in 8 of them. Just well-travelled Welsh player. Ingle, Ladd. That's another long ball, this time to Holland. Tempo was dropped, maybe because of that collision.
Yeah, obviously, you know, it takes time, but it's good to see Wales being patient. So you don't want to force the play, you know, you want to drag the Kazakhstan players out of position. They are keeping quite a few higher at times when you see them drop back in then to like a 4-1-4-1 formation. It's just about the movement of the Welsh players then, ensuring that they are dragging those Kazakhstan players out of position to create space for others, because when you're playing against a low block like that, you need to ensure that you're quick in possession, but the movements of the players are good and that players are picking up positions between lines to pull them out.
And one of those is Rachel Rowe. Tried the through pass to Fishlock. Green was behind her. Ingle wins it back. Wales not wasting possession either. We've seen those killer passes. And that second goal was a perfect example of that. Scored by this player, Natasha Harding. That's another great cross. Comfortable save for Sadat Seva.
Yeah, too close to the goalkeeper for me there. You know, we've seen that she's come out, she's commanding that, especially that 6-yard box. She's happy to come out and collect, she's confident. So just need to make sure that you know, not giving her the opportunity there. I'd like to see that just whipped across the floor more than anything.
Holland competing for it with Sadgileva. You notice each of the balls on little stands. They've had to be sterilised. Of course, COVID-19 still very much a part of our daily lives, but great to see supporters back as well. And they're certainly making their voices heard. James. Rowe. Ingle. A joy to watch, 2-footed player, and so is Fishlock. Just trying to batter her way through. Jess Fishlock, well, she could be a firebrand as well. She's certainly got an aggression that you'd like to see in a player, but was a bit frustrated, I think, not to find her way through.
Yeah, just ran back into a really crowded area more than anything, but picked up a good position on the wing to start with. Just really pleasing to see Wales using the ball quickly. You know, they've been very good in terms of switching play. 1 touch, 2 touch. We've seen some great diagonal balls, crossfield balls by Hayley Ladd, Gemma Evans as well.
Well, the Polish referee had no obligation to stop the game, no head injury, but it was...
She's used to too much MMA, I think, in America, Jess.
Well, of course, we know Jess Fishlock on a personal level. We know what she brings to this Wales team, but
yeah, and she'll be desperate. Sorry, Simon. She'll be desperate more than anybody to reach a major tournament. You know, she's won so many trophies, league titles, in, as you said, so many different countries. The one thing that's missing for her is reaching that major tournament. And you know, I think confidence is so high within this group at the moment, and they are inspired with their new slogan, for us, for them, for her. They are inspired. They want to do it for themselves. You know, Jess is a main person in that, but also to do it for the trailblazers, the Lauren McAllisters that were pivotal to starting the Welsh team, but obviously, you know, for those youngsters that are in the crowd this evening as well.
And they've seen some good goals. This is the first. And Kayleigh Green, all about the technique, clean strike.
Oh, it gets better every time you watch that. I just love the fact that she's taken it so early, and then this is as good a finish. You know, that first touch just to take it away from the defender, open up the body, and then, as I said, she no hesitancy at all to take it with a slightly weaker foot across the goal. Two superb finishes, taking the harder chances out of the many they've created this half.
Gemma Evans. And it was a 9-iron of a pass, wasn't it? Absolute pinpoint accuracy. And we've seen that a lot.
I've actually just taken up golf, and I wish I could pitch a shot like that, to be honest.
It wasn't shanked, was it? That pass.
That's something that we've seen quite often. As I said, I think it's something that they've worked on, those diagonal passes.
Evans got the confidence to stride forward. James, and there are options in the middle for Green. Second bite of the cherry, didn't find James, but you notice how hard Wales work off the ball, that press to win the ball back, and they have possession again. Yeah,
that's something that you've always seen with Wales. And you mentioned, we heard, Gemma Granger before the game talking about the fact that she's just building on the work that's been done with Matikainen and Jane Ludlow.
Good interchange between Green and Harding. James's cross towards Fishlock. A row from distance, puts it back in there. Caught in two minds, I think. And Ingle, as ever, there to mop up. It's been impressive, dominant, and at times relentless.
Yeah, but that's something I would expect. Maybe I've got high expectations of this group. I'm sure Gemma Granger has as well. You know, the quality of the squad. You know, you expect to see, and in the formation that we're playing now, in a far more, as I said, more freedom for those attacking players. You expect to see them taking the game to teams like Kazakhstan. You know, Wales are ranked 34th. We're ranked second, ranked 34th in the world. We're ranked second in this group. You know, Kazakhstan are ranked 5th out of 6th. They were going to come here in a defensive shape, you know, with a more defensive mindset, to sit back, put players behind the ball, and then try and hit on the counter. So I'm so happy to see Wales taking the game and creating chances, because that's been the difference in this game. We've created so many more chances than I've ever seen us, but again, need to just be a little bit more clinical in the final third.
Hayley Ladd just guiding the ball out into touch, and that injury time board will be moments away. Can't imagine we'll have too much additional time. There have been a few stoppages, though, actually saying that. But certainly enough for this crowd to be entertained. Kayleigh Green. Harding again, putting pressure on Barova. And Hayley Ladd. Cool as you like, back to the goalkeeper, the Manchester United player.
So happy to see her back. You know, Josie Green did very well in central defence whilst Hayley was away, but Josie's not a central defender. I mean, Hayley is predominantly a midfield as well, but it's a role, a position she's played for Wales for so many years, and she's just so calm and composed. And technically, you know, she's pivotal to us for opening the game up, as is Gemma Evans, switching or moving in from left back to centre half there.
Green, in this 4 minutes of added time. Ingle tries the 1-2. Wales have another throw. Has been going to be a change for Kazakhstan. In the meantime, here's Holland in towards Harding. Ingle to hit it. Wales almost trying to find the perfect pass at the moment. Ingle out to Holland. Holland to that back post. There's a narrow corridor of Welsh players, Harding, James, Green. Wales just keeping hold of that ball. Ladd. Lovely pass again, but the offside flag has gone up. And that will prompt a change from the visitors. And Kundiz Kazakmet replacing Fatima Satgelyeva. I think it was an enforced change, but for Kazakhstan they could bring on Lionel Messi at this point and it would still make little difference. Wales have been that dominant.
Well, I hope they haven't got a Lionel Messi, but no, yeah, they've been they haven't offered much but as I said, we were expecting that in terms of the rankings of the group, the quality of this Welsh side. Times I just think in those areas just around the box, it can get a little bit condensed. Just needs to be a bit more movement by the Welsh players. A movement off each other as one pulls, maybe the defence goes long to pull the defence one way and stretch them. Movement from another towards the ball then.
22 years of age, Kazakmet. Wales very much have the advantage in how they would like a third goal in this added time. Roberts. Gemma Evans. That's another pinged pass to perfection. Out towards Harding. Roberts. It's another decent cross. Well, the trajectory was quite flat, but it has gone out for a corner kick. Fishlock couldn't get there, but Kazakhstan have conceded another set piece, and Wales will be looking for a third goal here, Gwenan.
Yeah, they certainly would be a great way to wrap up the dominant first half, and obviously, I think that all-elusive third goal would just put the result definitely to bed.
Rose delivery towards that near post. Harding couldn't get the flick on. Here's James. Header from Holland. Well, it is a goal kick. I thought that they may have won a corner there for a moment, but clearly it took a deflection from Holland's header. But how pleased will Gemma Granger be, Gwenan Harris?
Oh, extremely pleased, obviously, with the scoreline as it is. She'd be happy with the performance, but I'm sure there's areas that she'd like them to improve on as well, just tidying up at times in possession, being a bit more patient, not forcing passes, pulling the Kazakhstan players out of position, and then just being a bit more composed in front of goal with some of the chances. As I said, we've two great goals, but probably the two hardest chances that have come their way.
Alan Roberts of Liverpool. Ingle. Utterly dominant. Gemma Granger will be delighted with what she's seen. The only thing missing, perhaps, is a third goal. The first came from Kaylee Green, and what a cracker it was. The second just as good from Natasha Harding. And the fans inside Parker Scarlets have been thoroughly entertained, as have we, Gwenan Harris.
Yeah, we certainly have, and as we talked about that slogan, for us, for them, for her, they've certainly done all that they can so far in this first half to inspire the generation, the next generation that are here watching. Over 100 from Ammanford Club here. I'm sure they'll be enjoying that performance.
Well, Natasha Harding, one of the stars of the first half in West Wales. At half-time, it's Wales 2, Kazakhstan 0. So Wales to get things underway in Llanelli. Well, already we're seeing Wales pottering that Kazakhstan goal. Is it 1-0? Another great save. And Kazakhstan just cannot cope. Kaylee Green hits it. What a goal. Well, it has been coming. Natasha Harding spotted the space, and Wales in complete control now.
Well, Wales are ahead by 2 goals, and it's been very comfortable. I think Simon summed it up very well there. Utterly dominant. Katie, do you agree?
Absolutely, you know, it's what we expected. Wales on the front foot, putting Kazakhstan under pressure, you know, very early on. And I would like a few more goals. I'd like Wales to go in for the kill now. I'm being greedy. But, you know, where we've seen in previous campaigns, we've been happy with a 1-0 or 2-0. This is the other side of Wales we want to see now, that ruthless side. And I'm looking forward to the second half.
Without being disrespectful to Kazakhstan, they haven't offered much at all, have they? Except for maybe their goalkeeper, who's been very busy.
She has, and you got to feel for her because she made some tremendous saves, albeit they were straight at her, those early shots. But, you know, it is a little bit like an attack versus defence session, but this is what we expected. I just think Wales have got too much quality for them. You know, we've almost got too many options, which we're definitely not used to seeing, and it's just about picking the right one at the right time.
Here's a lovely stat for you here and for you at home. 17 attempts at goal by Wales, only 1 for Kazakhstan. Now, if we were going to show all those attempts at goal, we would be here throughout the half-time, but let's have a look at some of them then, and some of the best chances maybe. Katie?
Yeah, we see, you know, Sophie Ingle on the ball. We've utilised the width really well. Kerry Hollands have had lots of possession. But it's when those balls go in the box, it's just Tash needs to do a little bit better. They're directing the ball down. And again, really strong header from Gemma Evans, you know. But we've got to take those chances because we're not going to get them, you know.
Is that the problem, actually? There is a lack of quality just with that final attempt at goal, that final finish, that final touch.
Yeah, there is. And in a game like this where you're expected to win, when it feels like to all the world you should score, you can tense up and you just want to get the shot on target. But what we need in that moment is a little bit of composure, pick out your corner. And you know, the goal from Natasha Harding that we'll see soon is honestly a peach. She takes it so early, and that's exactly what they need, just a bit of composure in front of goal.
And to be fair, the one from Kaylee Green, the first goal wasn't bad either. We had to wait 16 minutes and we sort of thought it's a matter of when, not if, but it came, and what a shot from it. It gets better every time you watch it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a great ball, a diagonal ball by Sophie Ingle to start the play. And she just takes the shot so early, and it's actually the more difficult chance she's had, you know, in the first half. And you know, unleashes such a powerful shot, great technique, and the keeper had no chance.
I think, again, as we've said, Holland is in acres of space on that left-hand side, and we know she's right-footed, so we know she's always going to come back inside or deliver a nice early ball. I think they were expecting that. I think Natasha Harding is an accidental great screen, because she actually blocks off the centre-half from closing Kaylee down. But I think she was all of us in that moment, Green, just thinking, stuff it, we deserve a goal, we need a goal, and yeah, what a shot.
Yeah, what a shot indeed. You wanted to see the Natasha Harding goal? Well, here it is for you to see. It's a great pass in, isn't it, by Sophie Ingle as well, I think.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and they're queuing up in the end. Like, look at the red shirts that we've got. And for me, I'm thinking, is she going to take a touch out of her feet and shoot? But no, she spots that. Tash doesn't even look up. Harding doesn't look up. She takes a touch, half turn, and it really is a splendid finish on her left foot. See it here again. She knows where she is in the box, and actually, I think this might be Natasha Harding's best position. We've seen her play all over the place for Reading and for Wales, full back. Played on the wing, she's out wide today, but actually I think, you know, if we're really looking at number 9s, who's going to put their hand up to be, I want to be your striker for this qualifying campaign, that could be her position.
Yeah, and you were saying also that these goals will be important for these players because they have the youngsters nipping at their heels, if you like, so it's their shirt to keep, isn't it? And there has been some pressure. Where are these goals coming from? So they will be valuable goals for them personally, not just for the team.
Yeah, as a striker, you know, you're there to score goals, and the more goals you score, the more confidence you will have. And it doesn't matter how much you practice, you know, you can be on the training field all day practicing, but it's confidence. And you've seen Kaylee Green on the weekend scored a great goal for Brighton, and that confidence breeds confidence. And I'm so happy that they've gotten the score sheet.
And, you know, they have the likes of us standing here on the side saying, oh, we'd love to see Lily Wood and we'd love to see Carrie Jones. Actually, you know, there's pressure on you when you're an athlete and you start entering your 30s. I actually think you start hitting your prime, but actually you do feel this little pressure that actually, oh, am I going to be losing my shirt soon? Is the changing of the guard coming? But you know, that's really important goals for those two players, and they're playing well so far.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some more goals. Girls, thanks very much for the time being. Let's get some insights then from inside the Welsh camp. Laura's got some company.
I have indeed. And Georgia Walters is here with me, Wales and Liverpool forward. Georgia, talk me through those two moments of magic from Tash Harding and Kaylee Green. Have you come to expect that from them?
We hang around in training at the end, doing a lot of finishing. Really happy for Kaylee on the first goal, obviously taking it first time finish outside the box, which, yeah, can't fault that one. Tash's, I didn't get the best view of it, but I think it came off her left foot straight into the top corner. So yeah, you've got to be happy with both of them.
Talk to me a little bit about Gemma Granger, because you've had to spend a bit of time with her now. What's her philosophy like? What's her coaching style like?
I think there's a real togetherness, not just within the team, but the background staff as well. Obviously, this is our first competitive game, so it's felt a little bit different, but I think the real togetherness, the clear aspiration, obviously, to qualify has really brought us closer together, and there's a really clear sort of mindset, so we've all come together, and it's going really well, yeah.
And we've got fans back for the first time. How exciting is that?
Yeah, do you know what? It's actually my first time with the fans in. It makes a massive difference to us as players. I think you could really feel that when the anthem was on. Obviously, it was sort of echoing through here. So yeah, you really felt sort of that connection with the crowd today.
Georgia, thank you very much.
No problem at all.
Thank you very much. And back to you, Catherine.
Fantastic, Laura. Thank you very much. Well, it has been a very busy night of football, not just here in Llanelli, but also for some of the other home nations.
Nelson. Such experience between Nelson and McFadden. Nice little flick from Furness. Oh, that's outstanding from Marissa Callahan. Another corner kick, another set-piece routine. Julie Nelson's been the target for the last couple. This time is Furness, and it's 2-0. Brilliant in the air. It's set up perfectly to the left foot of Rachel Furness. Over the wall, off the woodwork. Wilson follows it up. It is 3.
Yeah, things going well for Northern Ireland this evening, and things going well for Scotland also. They are away to Hungary, a 7 o'clock kickoff, and a goal up. Erin Cuthbert with the goal. She missed the initial penalty, but got the rebound. And the Lionesses have also been playing this evening. I think they've 3-0 up against North Macedonia. Right then. Some good scores there, actually. We've got to talk about Northern Ireland, haven't we? It's the painful one we've got to talk about because, of course, they managed to get to that playoff and win that playoff to make sure that they're in that England 2022 European finals. What could have been for Wales, but they seem to be growing in confidence. As I said, a late to score from them, but 3-0 up at the moment.
Yeah, and you can look at them if you're a Welsh player and think that it's really frustrating to see that. Actually, credit to them, they've made it through that difficult playoff, and they'll be at those finals next year. But actually, what they should be thinking is that really could be us. You know, they should take huge confidence from that. They were super close games. A couple of goals leaked that we shouldn't have leaked, and you know we've spoken about that, but there'll be better players, better people from it, and yeah, we'll take inspiration from watching Northern Ireland at those finals.
Yeah, and with so much football on this evening, I think it's a good opportunity to talk about visibility and how much football is around at the moment. Obviously, Wales have discussed the fact that all these games are going to be on the BBC over the next few months. Also the WSL on BBC, on Sky, and S4C showed the opening clash of the Adran Premier a few weeks ago, the domestic league in Wales. And seeing all this football around, it's a positive, and you feel that we're going in the right direction. Is it enough, Katie?
It's a great start, you know. This is what we've been screaming out for a long time, and you can't be what you can't see, and we have to have this visibility, not only to keep pushing the women's game forward, but for the next generation, you know. We want young girls to see their role models, and if we're not showing it, then they can't be it. They can't aspire to be those Sophie Ingles, Jessica Fishlock. So it's a massive move.
I love that. You can't be what you can't see. And so many youngsters in the crowd this evening. And I guess there were some concerns with COVID and the financial implications of all of that, that women's sport, women's football, possibly would be one of the casualties and all that.
Yeah, actually, I think it's proven that there's a real thirst for it. As soon as things started opening back up, the crowds that we've seen at local games have been amazing. And like you say, the coverage that it's getting from BBC and Sky Sports as well, you know, on the opening weekend of the WSL, which lots of these Welsh athletes were involved in, the numbers were amazing. I think 1.5 million people tuned in, and I think more people tuned in for a fixture, Man City against Everton, that tuned in to a men's Premier League match between Newcastle and Burnley last year. So to say that there isn't a thirst for it is no longer a thing. It definitely is. The product's getting better, the players are getting better. It's going to attract more and more fans to the game, endorsement to the game, and it's just going to keep growing.
Let's bring in Gwennan Harris, who's over in commentary, and Gwennan actually has a fortnightly vodcast. I had to Google what that was, but basically it's a podcast with a bit of video. But Gwennan, with doing that vodcast, if you like, you're bringing some recognition to the game, and are you getting some recognition about that work? Are people talking to you more about the game because of that?
Yeah, they certainly are. You know, I'm a teacher day to day, and a lot of the teachers in school are coming up asking, you know, what fixtures are this weekend, because they're seeing, you know, as the girl said, there's more exposure for the women's game. Like, this is great because the vlogcast is mainly on Welsh women's football. You know, obviously with the Sky Sports, BBC deals with the English League. A lot of our players are playing in it, so we do talk about that. It's also bringing light and shedding light to the pathway here in Wales. Now, we've seen with the under-17s and the under-19s having positive results over the last couple of weeks. The under-17s having a 1-1 draw with England. And a few of those, well, I think there were 7 players in that squad are coming through the Adran leagues in Wales. So just trying to bring that visibility and show the youngsters that are here today or watching that pathway is clear and visible for them.
Gwennan, thanks very much for the time being. We will be back with you for the second half very, very soon. So tonight here in Llanelli, well, it's all about the football, but next Friday night, well, it's rugby night.
The URC, we've got it covered. Friday night, it's Scrum 5 Live night. There's all the latest news on BBC Wales Online, Twitter and Instagram. And don't forget, English language commentary on S4C's Club Rugby.
Yes, very much looking forward to the rugby next week. But let's concentrate on this second half that we have coming up. And boy, oh boy, we're just hoping that we're going to get more goals so that we can build on that first half. Before we talk about any possible changes, let's talk about somebody who's been very, very busy during that first 45, Rachel Rowe. She's been everywhere, Katie.
She has. You know, she got such a bundle of energy, and it's not only energy, it's quality as well. She's almost playing like an inverted fullback. She has almost like a free role. She has so much space, and she's been up, putting crosses in. She's been joining in with attacks. She has been, you know, by far a stand-up player.
Yeah, you know, it's always been a thing of where is her best position. She's so versatile. She can honestly play in any position. She'll probably do a decent job at goalkeeper as well, but I think her GPS probably needs charging at half-time because the meters she's covered has just been amazing. She's the first one tracking back if we lose the ball, but she's also making some really clever runs. And she's the one player actually adding to those overloads in wide areas. When Kerry Holland's got the ball, you can see Rachel Rowe thinking, OK, where can I make a run? To either get the ball or take a defender away. So, yeah, fantastic performance from her. And I think, you know, we've seen that she's on dead balls as well. She's been on free kicks, she's been on corners. So Granger is really showing a lot of faith in her. And she was a bit of an unsung hero in the last qualifying campaign. And I think actually she might get the credit she deserves in this one.
The players are back on the pitch. They look very relaxed, don't they? I wonder how happy Gemma Granger will be, because they have left a few chances, as we've already spoken about, out there. Will she be disappointed with that, Katie?
I think it's something that they're always going to look to improve on, you know. We do expect more goals, but she'll be happy. We're 2-0 up, you know, they're creating lots of chances. They're relaxed in possession. They're aggressive in the press. Kazakhstan, you know, they're not offering much. It's just now what we can do with the ball, you know. How much more ruthless can we be in front of goal?
Do you expect them to empty the bench pretty early, Nia, Wales?
I think she'll see how they get on. I think they'd like another goal and pretty soon, but they've got fantastic options on the bench. There's great competition. We've got Carrie Jones on the bench. We're excited to see her, so yeah, looking forward to it.
Let's go then. Second half. Back we go to Gwennan and Simon.
Thanks, Kat. And I can tell you about a change for Kazakhstan, and they've gone for experience, in fact. Begiem Kyrgyzbieva, who has acted as captain for many Kazakhstan games, is on. But Wales will be hoping for more goals in this second half. I love that line from Nia Jones about Rachel Rowe's GPS. It has been firmly directed towards that Kazakhstan goal, and I don't expect anything different in this second half.
No, and how many times have we said that, to be fair to her, over the past years, couple of years? You know, whatever position she's playing in, she seems to cover every blade of grass, and she's a real good addition, helping with attacking play from that left-back role.
Harding closing down the goalkeeper. And actually, on second viewing of Natasha Harding's goal, it was, I'm actually with you, Gwen, and I think it was as skillful a finish as we saw from Kaylee Green. It was beautifully put in the corner.
Well, in its skill sense, it's probably better in terms of that first touch away from her, and then, you know, to hook it across your body then with your weaker foot.
And here is Harding. Got Green in support. Roberts. I don't think there's a rush or an urgency for Gemma Granger to mix things up and to dip into her bench. She has got attacking options on there. Some legends on there too, the likes of Helen Ward. We've seen it's Josie Green, who played very well in the game that we saw against Scotland earlier this summer. Carrie Jones as well, highly thought of. So there are options. Green. Roberts' cross. Could fall to Holland.
I'd just like to see in those, you know, when we get the ball out wide here, I'd just like to see Wales commit just a couple more players into from midfield in. So previously we just saw Angharad James, Sophie Ingle just sitting back. It's important that they join in as well, because, you know, if you look at how many defenders that Kazakhstan have got in the box, they've got plenty there. They've got their whole back line, they've got their whole midfield line, so they've got 9 players there. You know, they're just leaving the one up front. So obviously there's space there for the late runs, which are so hard to track by Sophie Ingle and Angharad James.
Kelly Green's header there, a glancing one. Not really testing Salet-Seva, who made some very good saves, I should say, in that first half. Not a lot she could do about the 2 goals, the Kazakh goalkeeper. Harding, Green, Harding. Thumped forward for Bortnikova, who has looked completely isolated up front. Look at the energy of Rachel Rowe.
Yeah, right.
An infectious character in the Wales squad, Rachel Rowe.
You mentioned before about, you know, making changes, and
Your thoughts on that in a moment, but Harding's first-time cross on the volley as well.
Oh, what a ball that was by Fishlock as well. You know, we've seen them, as I said, so many times, you know, those horizontal balls.
Roberts. Another steady hand in this Wales defence. Misplaced pass from Ingle. Rarely say that. And a chance. Well, it was an aimless ball in the end from the substitute, Kyrgyzbieva. And Laura Sullivan taking this goal kick, and Gemma Granger has kept faith with Wales' number 1. After that, what was a bad mistake against Scotland, I think it's probably fair to say that. It was a mistake which did cost the game. Hasn't had an awful lot to do. Gemma Evans, Rowe. Switch pass to Ingle. Well, credit to Kazakhstan, they're pushing forward for perhaps the first time in this game. But will it prove dangerous? Holland almost released.
Well, I was just about to say, you know, we've seen them press higher there, but if Wales can play around that, play one-touch, two-touch passes, which they're more than capable of doing, obviously then we've got our more attacking players in great areas, you know, and we'll be up against 3v3, 4v4, which is exactly what we want to do.
pitch looking lovely at Parker Scarlets. Of course, home of the Llanelli Scarlets. And BBC Wales will be here plenty of times this year, I'm sure, what with the United Rugby Championship. And exciting times ahead with coverage of that. James, Evans. Rowe. Skipped around two players, tried to find James. Well, the tempo perhaps hasn't been as quick as it was at the start of the first half, Gwenanne. I said that, there have been chances already.
No, Wales came out of the blocks flying at the start of the first half with that early chance. I'd just like to see the forwards again. You know, I mentioned in the first half, just those contrasted movements. A couple of times maybe Kerry Holland's played up in that centre forward position. She's come off.
Great run from Green. Harding's in the middle, so too Holland. Good fall to James. Just came off her shin. Good recovery from Ingle. Roberts. Well, Kazakhstan again hastily clear it away.
Yeah, just to go back to that point, I think Kerry Holland make the run, and you just need the movements then off that, so the space then was created in behind, but there was no one making that run with her.
Well, Rachel Rowe has made this run. Left-footed drive. Kerry Holland almost on the end of it.
Because when you're playing against a team that's defending quite deep, you need to be able to move them, as I mentioned in the first half. So if, as we've seen Kerry Holland or Kaylee Green making that run deep towards the ball, it attracts one of the central defenders then with her, which creates then a gap in behind, and that's when you want the contrasting movements into that space.
Kerry Holland still after her first Wales goal. Ingle battling for it. Kaylee Green always battling for it. Still with Green. Oh, it's well played. Roberts towards the goalkeeper, and it was flicked on. It was a chance certainly for Holland, and I don't think she knew that the goalkeeper Salet Saver was directly behind her.
Well, it's a really difficult chance because, as you can see from Rhiannon Roberts, that she's just clipped it into the area. Obviously, Kerry Holland's not watching the ball. That to try and generate some pace and some speed on a cross like that is very, very difficult.
Here's Hayley Ladd. Ingle again showing her ability with both feet. James. This is nice. Harding. Plenty of options. Fishlock's one of them. Harding. Wales almost trying to score the perfect goal here.
I'll be honest, I think the right option was actually Rhiannon Roberts had made the overlap, just for Tash Harding just to slip her in there, because that's where the space is. The space is all out wide. Kazakhstan are congestion in there's a lot of congestion in the middle, and which they're happy to see. So Wales need to use.
Oh, what a shot! And what a goal! Oh my word, that is spectacular from Rachel Rowe. Unbelievable! And Gemma Granger leads the applause. It flew in.
That is an extraordinary strike. We said, about how important she is in joining in. One touch out of her feet, and she just thought, why not? And the technique behind that, good ball across. She said that first touch out of her feet, kept her body over the ball, and again, no chance for Sartsova in the Kazakhstan goal. All three Wales goals have been outstanding. That actually reminds me of the Ronaldo goal for Man United against Porto in the Champions League years and years ago. Because you could see how much confidence Rachel Rowe obviously it has to take that strike on, but the technique as well, as I said, using her laces, head over the ball, body over the ball, and then following through correctly as well.
Well, Nia Jones said about Rachel Rowe's GPS system, and that she had to reset it perhaps. Well, there was only one direction that ball was going, straight into the top corner. Outrageous goal from Reading's Rachel Rowe. Great celebration too.
Yeah, love that. You've got to celebrate properly when you score a cracker like that. You know, I always see when I see her playing left back, I'm actually a little bit disappointed because I think she offers so much more when she's in an attacking position. But then against a team like Kazakhstan, who obviously are going to sit deeper, you actually get the benefit of Rachel Rowe joining in. You know, and she gets so involved. We know that she's two-footed. She can go on the outside, she can cut inside, but she makes really clever movements as well off the ball, which creates spaces for others, which we've seen many a time in this game already.
Well, this crowd have been thoroughly entertained with some smashing goals in Llanelli this evening. And this is about as good as you'll see anywhere.
Yeah, well, this angle will be the best. As I said, one touch out of her feet, and then, well, as they say, top bins, isn't it?
Top bins. Fishlock, she wants to get in on the act. And yeah, the quality of the goals, that's been the standout thing, I think, take away from this evening. Still work to do. 3-0 is a commanding lead, but Wales have to be professional, and they will be. It's a big beaming smile on the face of Gemma Granger when that third goal just flew in. And it sets up a very important game in midweek.
Yeah, I think actually, if you look at the fixtures, the importance of having these two games early on, as we see, you know, the Estonia game live on Tuesday, 10 to 6. It was so important that Wales got maybe lesser ranked teams first, just to build confidence, build momentum, and give themselves a chance, just like we've seen in the last World Cup campaign when it actually went to the very last game. I think the campaign before we actually commentated on, didn't we? And you know, we had Austria away and then Norway away, and we lost both games, and you're really struggling to get back into it then. So that was a really big, crucial element to this campaign that Gemma Granger did well to organise.
I was talking to people at the FAW who said it was like a war room when the fixtures were being handed out and negotiated between the teams. And Gemma Granger had all sorts of scenarios pinned up on a wall. But I think clearly she wanted these two teams first, just to set up the confidence, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, and especially starting with a home game as well. But that's the thing, you know, as fans, you don't realise when the fixtures come out that there is so much drama surrounding it, and a lot of problems that have to be solved. So logistically, you know, it can be a nightmare. But you know, Gemma Granger and the team of staff, the great team of staff she's got behind her, have done very well. So, as I said, to get these two, especially this first one being at home.
Yeah, never mind being a manager, you've got to be a diplomat as well. Here's Ladd. Wales firmly in control now. Kazakhstan, of course, lost 12-0 to France in December. Could it get worse? Well, it's gone back to Saratsveva. Good tackle from James. Ingle. And in tight spaces, she has shown her quality again. Roberts. There's a bit of room here. Opts just to play it to James. Every single Wales player under Gemma Granger encouraged to play. Need to be so adept on the floor. James, technically very good. Roberts. Kelly Green has dropped short. James continues her run.
I think we've got Katie Sherwood standing by. Katie, just like to know what changes you'd like to see, really, with the scoreline being as it is now. Obviously, Gemma Granger's going to give some changes. What changes would you like to see?
I think, you know, with it being such an attacking game, I'd like to see some of the youngsters come on, you know, in this environment. We've got Carrie Jones on the bench. We've seen her in previous games, you know, what quality she brings. And great to give her experience, because she's a player that we're going to need in this campaign. Also, we've got Meg Wynn, who's just come back from injury. Great to see her back on the pitch. You know, she's worked so hard to come back after this injury. It'd be great to see her. And another, you know, stand-up player, youngster coming through the ranks, Lily Woodham, you know. She's, you know, quality. And I just think it's important that we get those youngsters on and give them an exposure in such this environment.
Yeah, you feel that there are more goals. And who knows, maybe some of those young players that Katie mentioned will be among those. I saw an interview with Carrie Jones talking about her experiences at Manchester United. She's one an admirer in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the way that she plays. Solskjaer, a man who has been quick to praise her apparently, and she's enjoyed great support from the Manchester United boss.
Well, she was outstanding here when she made her first full start against Scotland. You know, I thought she was player of the match, on the ball, off the ball. Someone so young. You know, she's had a bit of pressure on her as well because she's had that tag, because she had her cap so early. I'm sure she'll be chomping at the bit to get on and, you know, have an opportunity. And I'd love to see, as Katie said there, you know, the youngsters getting an opportunity in a game like this, gaining that experience, because they're so important to us and for us going forward.
Fishlock's through ball, trying to find Rowe. Well, a lot of young Wales fans making a fair bit of noise inside Parker Scarlets this evening. And, well, the new tagline is for her, for them, for us. Talking very much about the next generation as well as those who've come before.
Yeah, and it's great to see. I mean, you know, next month the FAW will be announcing some statistics, some numbers and targets around the growth and participation. But we already know that they've got the centres, the huddle centres, the turn up and play, and they've been increasing. There's 63 centres now across Wales, which just goes to show, you know, how much interest is actually there. And it's great to see, as I said, these games being televised as well, because, as Katie said, Kate Sherwood said at half-time, you know, you need to see it to be it.
And many of these superb role models for these young children. Megan Wynne there, and as Katie said, great to see her back from injury at a torrid time, really, and a player of real ability.
Yeah, and she was superb for Wales in the last campaign. You know, her role was mainly predominantly coming off the bench, and she's so powerful and direct. You know, she was creating a lot of chances for Wales, but she was really unlucky then to get such a long-term injury. She's battled back hard, you know, with the support of her teammates. She moved to Bristol. Well, she was at Bristol. She moved back now to Charlton.
There's a yellow card for Gemma Evans, who looks puzzled. It was Bortnikova who's gone down. What do you make of this, Gwenan?
Well, I think that's very unfair. You know, that's really harsh. You know, she's won the ball there. Obviously, you know, you can see that her elbow, but this is one of the rules that really frustrates me in football, because we see with the men, we're looking for more, you know, being penalised a lot in the Euros. It's really difficult to jump without your arms, especially when you're coming through like that, because you need a little bit of balance as well. So she's really unlucky, and it's frustrating because obviously, you know, with the yellow cards, she gets another one soon. She'll be missing the next game, so she'll have to be really, really careful now.
Well, Gemma Evans has had a number of opportunities in this game. Has looked very comfortable as part of that back four. Well, we've had our money's worth, haven't we, tonight, Gwenan?
We certainly have. You know, as I said, I think all three of these are the hardest opportunities, but great finishes, and just goes to show, just technically, you know, how advanced these players are and how much the game has improved. That is an absolutely superb strike with a great celebration too. But, you know, I'd love to see a better goal than that anywhere across football this weekend.
There's certainly one to re-watch on the BBC Sport Wales website. Not a nice sight to see Bortnikova go off like that. A few tears there, in fact, as well, and maybe even a bloodied nose. Whether Gemma Evans meant that or not, we don't know. But Kazakhstan do have a free kick, and this is a rare opportunity for Laura O'Sullivan to be challenged here. Gemma Evans among those, just holding a defensive line. It's straight at the, well, it was wayward in the end. O'Sullivan had The chance just to watch it go by.
I think she thought she was Rachel Rowe there for a little second. It's a bit ambitious.
Myasnikova, well, it was worth a shot. And Bortnikova still receiving treatment, so Kazakhstan down to 10 temporarily.
You say it was worth a shot there, but if I was one of the forward players in that advanced position, I would be absolutely fuming, because for me that's a waste. You know, you haven't had many opportunities, you know, and you have one in a good area there. It's a bit selfish.
Ingle, who has gone about her business as she does. She just glides around the pitch.
Yeah, there's not enough words to describe how good she is it? I was so pleased to see her on that highest stage representing, and as one of the co-captains in the Olympics. And that experience will be so important for her to bring back to this Welsh side as well. I think the confidence and the mentality is more than anything of, you know, how this Welsh team now has to believe in themselves, and they are really starting to, that they can qualify.
Well, James is going to try it. They're all trying it now. Well, Rachel Rowe has set the marker, and she set it pretty high.
Yeah, it was a different type of strike on target by Howard James. I think she just glanced up and saw Sarits over the Kazakhstan goalkeeper off her line. She just went for more of a lob to chip shot instead of driving through the ball like we've seen with the Rachel Rowe attempt.
Well, Kazakhstan have had to make a change here. The bloodied nose of Bortnikova. Well, clearly can't go on like that. If it keeps bleeding, you've got to make the change. But Wales will try and take advantage of Kazakhstan temporarily being down to 10.
Interesting to see Gemma Granger, you know, not rushing to make any changes yet for Wales. You know, and that's something that we actually saw under the last manager, Jane Ludlow. It was very rare that Jane made changes to her team. And if she did, they were very late on. She relied on the fitness of the players.
Zoom Abakixby has come on. And it's back with the goalkeeper. It's out its favour. I got a feel for the Kazakhstan goalkeeper. 3 goals that she could get nowhere near. You could be the best goalkeeper in the world. You could be Hope Solo and you wouldn't get anywhere near that. Laura Sullivan on the flip side of that has had very little to do, but will that change? Kazakhstan on the attack, and they have a rare throw-in on that far side, right in front of their coach Petkov.
Yeah, I think the depth of the Welsh squad now is just so much greater. You know, as we said before, Gemma Granger has named her strongest side. There's some real competition for places there, and that's why maybe I'm surprised that I haven't seen any changes yet. As I said, we saw under the Jane Ludlow campaign, she was maybe a bit hesitant to make changes. Maybe there wasn't quite so much depth, so many options to bring on. There's so many good, promising attacking players, as we mentioned. Carrie Jones, Lily Wood, Meg Wynn as well.
Ladd. Roberts, Ladd. Gemma Evans. Looking for another surging pass towards Rowe. Fishlock, Green, it's a tight angle. Plays it back into Fishlock. Oh, it got to be 4. Ingle, they're all queuing up. Rowe, good save. Well, credit to Kazakhstan there. Being defensively resilient against a rampant Wales side.
Yeah, that's another great save. Sophie Ingle, I actually thought she was going to line up, but Kaylee Green's touch took her away from goal. She did really well to pull the ball back. Oh, some great defending there. You know, they really threw the bodies on the line, and it's another good save. I just can't quite fathom the starting position at the goalkeeper. She stays really deep.
Short corner from Rowe. It is 4. Green with a second. And it was only a matter of time. They were all queuing up for it. And Wales have their fourth.
Yeah, it's just surprised to see so many Welsh players get so much space, so close to the goal, but take nothing away. As we mentioned in the first half, players were having chances with headers. You know, they were directing them. They weren't directing them down into the corner. We see the difference here with Kaylee Green. So Rachel Rowe with an assist this time. It's the ball into a good area, and Kaylee Green, the difference here. She's directing it down. It's so difficult as a goalkeeper to be able to react quickly when the ball's going low and hard. But again, I do think, as I said, the starting position isn't helping her, but you know, it's a good finish by Kaylee Green, and 2 goals as well. She hasn't scored for a while for Wales.
And Hannah James being replaced by Carrie Jones of Manchester United. And I know, having spoken to Gemma Granger, just how highly she thinks of this young woman.
Yeah, I'm very pleased to see her get an opportunity. I rate her very, very highly. And what we see now is she's just taken up the position that Kerry Holland had. And Kerry Holland's gone into play in that midfield trio, and we'll see Jess Fisher maybe just sit back into a little bit of a deeper role that Hannah James was playing previously. She's a real talent, Carrie Jones, who can go on both feet. Can play it in between the lines very well as well. For someone so young, she picks up really clever positions, and she works extremely hard, as we've seen out of possession in that Scotland game.
Green helps it on to Jones. Jones continues her run. Holland, more central this time. Harding. Fishlock. There does seem to be perhaps a bit of activity on that Wales bench. We'll get confirmation if there is a sub and another change to come. Potentially. Helen Ward, we're hearing. If you need more goals, then who better to call on, I guess, than Wales's record goal scorer, and Helen Ward, who scored 43 international goals. And Kaylee Green, quite rightfully applauded by the crowd.
Yeah, another good performance, and 2 good finishes as well. Opened the scoring with that shot outside the area, and then directed that header downwards a couple of minutes ago. And delighted to see Helen Ward get another opportunity. It's been a while since she had her last good run out for Wales. Sometimes I do question why maybe one of the youngsters hasn't had one before. 4-0 up, hasn't had an opportunity, but as you said, someone who brings so much experience and a definite knack for in and around the box, definitely knows where the back of the net is.
And I'm sure someone like Helen Ward will be looking at 100 caps. This her 94th, by the way. So every opportunity, you don't want to just give out caps, as prizes, but she has been such a magnificent servant for Wales.
Oh, she certainly has. Wales's top goal scorer, and as I said, in those central areas, she can make a real difference.
And she will want to get in among the goals. Currently at her beloved Watford. She did actually spend time on loan at London Bees during the first period of COVID uncertainty.
Oh, good play from Carrie Jones. That's what I love to see. You love to see attacking players being direct, being positive, using their pace to drive. Obviously that last touch just a little bit heavy.
That's got to be a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. And Carrie Jones in the thick of the action already, winning this free kick.
I think she'd be disappointed to start with. She actually lost possession of the ball, but then her mentality to work hard to win possession of the ball back. It's a clear foul there, and another good opportunity for Wales, who I'm sure have been practicing their set pieces no end this week.
Shaver with a foul, and Rachel Rowe placing the ball on the floor. It's a tight angle. but you wouldn't put it past her. But even if Rachel Rowe puts this across with power, it could go anywhere. A ricochet or a deflection. And it comes from Rowe over the bar, and it is a corner.
It was actually a good ball in, actually, whipped in with pace towards that front post, which is hard to deal with, bounced just in front of the Kazakhstan defence. But the reason why he actually got through is because you've seen the three in the wall there. They just completely broke, and that's why the space was there. If they stayed still, it would have just bounced straight off them.
Into the last quarter, Rachel Rowe preparing to take another corner. The referee, Monica Mulachik, having a word with Gemma Evans. I think she felt that there was a bit of pushing and shoving. Evans claiming innocence. It's a packed penalty area, and one for Rowe to cause Kazakhstan problems here. But for a low one this time, almost helped on its way. Jones with the shots, comes out to Evans, and Ward chases it as well. Oh, she's brought such positivity since coming off the bench, Jones.
Yeah, that's exactly what Gemma Granger would have wanted, and I'm sure she'd given her that freedom as well, given her that confidence, and told her, be direct, be positive. There's a couple of clips on social media of the training sessions, and there's one outstanding, composed, calm finish by Carrie Jones. But, I'm sure Gemma Granger knows exactly just how much she can bring in an attacking sense to this Wales team, and to try and get us obviously more goals.
Well, Dwayne Peel on a family day out of the Scarlets, a Scarlets legend, of course. No doubt looking forward to the United Rugby Championship, as we all are, at BBC Wales. And like us all, I'm sure Dwayne has had a fair bit of entertainment tonight. We've seen some spectacular goals. Evans.
Turn! No!
Jones. Ward. Fishlock. Of OL Reign, Roberts, Ingle. Fishlock very deep here. Jones. Oh, this is lovely football. And the run from Rachel Rowe was almost rewarded. But just the confidence in this Wales team, pinging passes from Fishlock to Ingle, Carrie Jones. And that's the one thing that we haven't seen tonight. We've seen a lot of spectacular individual efforts, but not that ultimate team goal that they're fully capable of.
No, we saw a lot of direct play in the first half, trying to utilise, the spaces and those quick diagonal balls, across the pitch. But now we're seeing a little bit more, as we'd expect, just playing in between the lines, one-touch, two-touch passing.
With a header back of Sullivan, did well. So giving it away. Fishlock recovering. She wants to take on the whole team here. Runs into trouble. But wins a throw. Roberts. Harding. He's run her socks off. Oh, she's still going. Mazy run from Natasha Harding. One of the Reading contingent in this Wales team. There's a bit of a Reading mafia, I think they call it.
Yeah, there is. And obviously they lost Angharad James, and Fishlock was on loan, but then Gemma Evans has come in signing from Bristol. Obviously, we haven't seen much of her today because obviously we haven't had much of the ball, but you know, Reading had 2 losses to start the season. However, Gemma Evans has slotted into the centre defence very well. You know, and obviously that's going to help her then in this new position for her for Wales, because she's normally used to playing left back, but there's a good partnership developing between Ladd and Evans.
Good control from Roberts. She saw Harding, and Harding is furious. More with the referee, I think she wanted the decision. She has got that, but Harding was free. And there will be a change for Kazakhstan. Another one. And on this occasion, it's Bakova, one of their regular players. Well, there's no time to take the change just yet. I think Wales will take this free kick first. And look who's over the ball. Rachel Rowe's delivery has been of the highest quality tonight. It's a nice, clever little chip. Well, it fooled the Kazakhstan defence, and Fishlock just tried to heel it into the penalty area, into that 6-yard box. It was a well-worked corner, well-worked free kick, sorry. Ladd. For Holland. Nice header to Ward. It's a corner, another one.
Yeah, just going back to that free kick, you could see that it was, you know, something that they worked on in training, and it was a lovely little flick back across by Fishlock. But unfortunately, nobody had actually made the run off the back of that. But another set piece, you know, another opportunity.
Rowe with the corner. It is another short one. Fishlock! Another good save. It was a great piece of improvisation from Jess Fishlock.
Well, we've seen the flick from the free kick, but the flick from the corner was even better. Just the fact that Satsova's having a very good game this evening and was equal to it.
Well, even by tonight's standards, that would have been outrageous. Rowe with a more direct corner kick this time. And Kazakhstan just want to get it anywhere. They may have time to make this change. I think it'll be a double change, in fact. They're just trying to give game time. And Demidova coming off. And Turbekova will replace her, and a second change for Kazakhstan. Of course, there is still time for Wales to make further changes, perhaps.
Yeah, it looks like there's 2 coming. Get them ready. I think one is Megan Wynn. I can't quite see the other from here.
Sadyakova on for Berova. It's been a tough evening for the Kazakhstan defence. Just some fresh legs needed, perhaps.
Yeah, it has. Obviously, they've sat deep. The only surprise that I've got is the fact that they actually have played with a 4 in the back. I would expect them to have played 5.
Good first touch from Ward. Good second touch too. Rowe with a left-footed cross this time. Ward, Ingle, Fishlock. Roberts, it's a heavy pass, but Roberts works hard. Ingle's cross, it's there to be contested. Keeper did well again. Well, she's probably been Kazakhstan's best player, the goalkeeper, and
I think probably is an understatement, to be honest.
But at 4-0, it would seem strange to say that, but credit where credit's due.
Oh, she's been outstanding. You know, the score could be in double figures if it wasn't for her.
Roberts with the run. Didn't work out on that occasion, and there will be changes for Gemma Granger. And great to see Megan win. Back in a Wales shirt and replacing Natasha Harding. Big smiles for a player who got on the score sheet tonight in spectacular fashion. Lovely looped finish. And Megan Wynne is the player who comes on, currently at Charlton. And here's the other change. Esther Morgan of Tottenham, a third cap for her. Rhiannon Roberts making way. So it's time for the youth to show what they've got.
Yeah, and as I said, you know, a couple of minutes ago, just the depth that Wales have now got and now developed in, you know, it's really promising with these youngsters, especially someone like Esther Morgan, who's only 18, who just signed her first pro contract with Spurs.
And a first touch for Megan Wynne. Goal kick, not a corner. We've got some full-time scores for you involving the home nations. England, emphatic winners over North Macedonia, 8-0. Scotland, 2-0 winners at Hungary. Northern Ireland, 4-0 winners against Luxembourg. Wales know all about Northern Ireland, of course. We shall say no more. There is that lingering feeling, isn't there, from the... Not so much for Gemma Granger, because she's only just come into the job, but what would have been for Wales in that last campaign.
Yeah, it's definitely a disappointment not to have reached the European finals. However, you know, that's used as a source of motivation now for these players.
Jess Fishlock, who's on the ball, has said that qualification for a major finals would... Well, she would swap anything that she's achieved in her career, which is remarkable to say, for that finals place with Wales. Megan Wynne leads the charge. Throw in to Kazakhstan. And remember, it's Estonia next for Wales. A game that we'll bring you coverage of on Tuesday night. Play from Wynne. Morgan. Fishlock. 1-2. Rowe completes her run. Good fall to Holland. Ingle out towards Wynne. Good first touch. Excellent first touch to get round the defender. That's a great first touch. You know, when the ball's coming into you high like that and you're under pressure, it's really difficult. So to take it, you know, first time, open up your body and away from defenders, a great piece of play by Megan Wynne. The United Rugby Championship back on BBC television as well, on BBC Wales output. And I hope you can join us on Tuesday as well for that Estonia game. Ball over the top for Wynne. Not too many options here. Oh, good skill. Wants the free kick, gets it. And in its position, it's almost the complete mirror image to Rachel Rowe's last free kick. Yeah, that certainly was a free kick. Again, good play by Megan Wynne. What she does well is she faces up at the defender. And then, you know, I thought she was going to go on the outside, but dinks back on the inside and draws a foul in a great area again for Wales. And Wales will be wanting to finish the evening with a fifth. And Rachel Rowe, who has been outstanding this evening, again over the ball. She's mixed up her free kicks. She's gone short, she's gone long, she's been direct, she's gone short again. And Carrie Jones this time testing the Kazakhstan back line out for a corner. Yeah, well, Carrie Jones actually available
when you said, you know, the carbon copy free kick on the other side, but Rachel Rowe didn't use it. This time she did.
4 minutes of added time, another corner. Rachel Rowe. She's got the option here of Ingle, who's dropped short, but I think this is going in the mixer. In it goes. Good header, and it's 5. And it's Gemma Evans. It's been a convincing Wales display, and that's what it means. Kazakhstan can only stand and stare, and Gemma Evans has completed a fabulous night for Wales.
Gemma Evans has threatened to score a goal like this on a couple of occasions in this game, and she's finally got her rewards. Another great delivery, second assist by Rachel Rowe into a superb area, and just the way she attacks the ball. Yeah, she doesn't header it down, but the power that she's generated. She did actually power it down. Again, the difference between the first half chances, down low and hard, and I've mentioned many times, I'm going to say it for the last time in this game, the starting position, although Sartsova in the goal's been superb, that starting position is not helping her either. But take nothing away from, as I said, the finish by Gemma Evans and the difference with powering that header down into the floor instead of high, which is easier to save.
Well, Zasha Harding there, just actually, let's go to you, Gwenan, and for you to pick your player of the match.
Yeah, I think Kaylee Green, obviously 2 goals, maybe a little bit unlucky not to, but it was really hard to not look. Plus Rachel Rowe, you know, that absolute screamer of a goal, 2 assists as well, bundles of energy supported in the play, great movement on and off the ball. So I think she thoroughly deserves the player of the match award this evening.
Well, hopefully we'll hear from Rachel afterwards, as well as Gemma Granger. Of course, we should say as well, goal difference isn't that much of a factor in this qualifying group, because if there are level points, it goes to head-to-head matches, as we saw in the previous campaign. No,
you're right there, Simon, but I just think the confidence that it breeds to be able to put the ball.
Is it 6? It is 6! And it's Kerry Holland who gets in on the goals. And she deserves it. She's worked hard all night. And fist bumps for everyone. Wales 6, Kazakhstan 0.
Oh, so pleased to see Kerry Holland get her first goal there, and a great assist by Megan Wynne as well. She's got her head up early, seen that there was plenty of players in the box, a good delivery, and a good finish. You know, Sartsova's starting position maybe a bit too high this time, but Kerry Holland as well, just to dink it over the top of her, and you know, pleasing that she's off the mark now with her first goal for Wales, and hopefully many, many more to come.
Kerry Holland of Liverpool.
You were saying about the goal, you know, about the performance and not there being a goal difference, but just as I was going to say, the confidence that it breeds, you know, when you're putting teams to bed and being clinical and ruthless.
Well, look at this. Wales are not done yet. Megan Wynne. It's been the emphatic display that Gemma Granger will have wanted to kick off this campaign. It could get even better here. Kazakhstan have been hit for 6. I know it's a cliche, but they have been bullied left, right and centre, and Wales have been dominant. Gemma Granger applauds her team as Wales kick off their campaign with an emphatic victory. There are only a few teams that you would fancy scoring 6 goals against. With respect to Kazakhstan, they never really turned up, but take nothing away from this Welsh performance. Yeah,
superb performance. You know, a lot of attacking freedom for these players, these Welsh players, in this new setup under Gemma Granger. But what's so pleasing is the fact that Wales have been more clinical in that second half and put away many of the chances that maybe we haven't seen in the past.
Well, the only tough question that remains is which goal was the best. Kaylee Green scored a couple of crackers. Her first one certainly just flew in past the goalkeeper. But Rachel Rowe starts the party at Parker Scarlets. Hugs all round from Gemma Granger. Wales kick off their campaign in some style. And it's finished here in West Wales. It's finished Wales 6, Kazakhstan 0. And Kazakhstan just cannot cope. Kaylee Green hits it. What a goal! Natasha Harding spotted the space, and Wales in complete control now. Oh my word, that is spectacular from Rachel Rowe. Short corner from Rowe. It is 4. In it goes. Good header, and it's 5.
Well, what a result for Wales. The convincing display they wanted at the start of this World Cup qualifying campaign, and that win, well, it puts them in second place in that group behind France, who earlier had a convincing win against Greece. The other result in that group, Slovenia 4-0 winners over Estonia, Wales's next opponents on Tuesday night. Well, we enjoyed that, there's no doubt about it, and I think the Welsh players and that Wales squad and Gemma Granger, the new Wales manager, they enjoyed it as well. Some dancing, plenty of hugging as well, and the convincing display that we wanted. That's how you start a campaign, isn't it, Katie?
What a way to kick off the campaign. You can hear the party has started here already, you know, fantastic. 6 goals, clean sheets. And some fantastic goals as well. Where do we start? Which one do we choose?
Do you know what? We're going to look at the goals in a minute. But first, let's get some reaction. Laura has got Captain Fantastic, Sophie Ingle with her.
Sophie, congratulations. 3 points, a really strong start to this campaign. You must be incredibly pleased.
Yeah, great start in front of the home fans. They were supporting us from minute 1. Every goal that went in, we could hear them. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Obviously you can still hear them now. It's just amazing to have them back in the stadium, and I'm glad we put on a show for them.
Was that a pretty complete performance from you? I was starting to think that Wales only scored worldies after Rachel Rowe's rocket. What did you make of those efforts?
Yeah, great goal from Rowe. We know she can do it. She does that in training, and now she's done it in the game. But yeah, great goals all around. I think there's a number of different goal scorers, which is great. We're not always waiting for 1 or 2 to score. And yeah, the crowd, like I said, the crowd just got behind us, and it was just amazing.
After the disappointment of the last campaign, do you feel like this is really your time now?
Yeah, it's a fresh start. Obviously, we had great foundations from the last campaign, and you know, it's small margins, and we were unfortunate to not, you know, get a playoff position. But now it's a fresh start, and you can see the belief within the team and the way we're playing, more attacking football, and it's just amazing. You know, 6 goals against, you know, a team that blocked up is quite hard, but yeah, buzzing for the team.
Sophie, congratulations. Enjoy this moment. I'm going to bring in Gemma Granger now.
Thank
Gemma,
you.
if you just want to step towards the mic. Gemma, congratulations. A really strong start to this campaign, and we knew that it had to be. Was that a total performance from you? And is that what you're really looking for, continuing on to Estonia on Tuesday?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was so pleased for the whole team. I think the whole team performance from the first minute to the last minute was exactly what we wanted. We started how we wanted to, and for me that's a big tick, and then we move on to the next game.
The opportunity to use some substitutes today, how set are you on your starting 11 at the moment?
I think for us it's a whole squad environment, so the starting 11 doesn't stay the same. You know, we have a strong starting 11, we have strong players to come off the bench, and I think we showed both of them tonight.
What can you work on? What can you build on taking on from this performance ahead of Tuesday's game?
I think the most important thing for us to work on is to take this game off and now focus on Estonia. This is a long campaign. This is game 1. I'm so pleased to score 6 goals as a team, but for me I'm taking it off and I'm taking it a step at a time, and that's the biggest thing we're going to take from today.
Gemma, thank you. Enjoy the celebrations with the fans. They're going wild.
Thank you. Thank you.
All smiles, and all smiles here in the studio as well. Player of the match, Rachel Rowe, has been waiting so patiently. Fair play to you. There's only one place to start, not the victory, but that goal. I think Gwennan Harris in commentary compared it to a Ronaldo strike. Do you remember it?
Yeah, of course I remember it.
Right, I'm going to get you to stand a bit closer to the mic.
Yeah, I remember it. I think, like Soph said, it's something that I pride myself on. I know I'm small, but I'm mighty. I'm overwhelmed with the result, with the way the week has been. We executed everything that we needed to, and credit given where due. Gemma and her staff have prepared us well for that, and we executed the game plan and got the result that I think we thoroughly deserved.
Well, we watched that goal quite a few times during that game. We're going to let you enjoy it as well. Talk us through it. What do you remember?
Top bins. Nah. It's one to be proud of for sure.
It is one to be proud of.
It's such a special match. I've got my family in the crowd, my mum, my brothers, and just having the fans back is really overwhelming. We couldn't do it without them, our red wall, and I can't wait to see them in the next few games that we're playing at home.
You've been involved in quite a few campaigns. How does this one differ? Is it a different atmosphere at the moment? Because you're all building towards that main aim to get to those major finals for the very first time.
Yeah, it's been something that we've wanted for so long, and we've been through a couple of campaigns now and not got what we've wanted. Sometimes through bad decisions that have been made, but you know what, we're in this situation now, and what Gemma's done, she's brought in a group of staff who have all bought into a culture which going forward I think we will be successful, and I truly believe that every single person in that squad, including the staff, do truly believe that this is going to be our campaign to qualify.
You've got to back this one up now. Tuesday night, Estonia away.
Yeah, absolutely. I truly believe. I've never been more wholeheartedly into something that I think we can definitely get the result with this group of players that we've got. It's a special group of players, thoroughly talented and been the underdogs and been overseen for so long, and I think tonight we've just proven what we can actually do when we're playing with the ball.
Look, congratulations. We're going to let you go and join the other players. They're going into that tunnel, but I'm sure there's some celebrating to be done in that changing room. Congratulations on that goal. Congratulations on that first victory. We look forward to Tuesday night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Let's talk about her performance then as she walks away to join the rest of that squad. We mentioned her half-time, no doubt about it. She did put in a 90-minute performance, didn't she?
She did, and you know, I'm glad she's gone away because we're going to flatter her here. Her playlist was impressive, but her performance was honestly phenomenal. In possession, out of possession, she was involved all of the time. Looking at driving at players, she was a handful. She was bringing other players into play, making late runs, and yeah, you could just see that she really wanted to cap it off with a goal. And you know, we were thinking a few players were taking shots from distance, but she has got that quality. And we spoke about, actually, I really hope she now feels like she can be mentioned in the same breaths as an Ingle, as a Fishlock, as a James, because she's been doing it for Wales for a while now. But those other bigger names that maybe play for bigger clubs often outshine her, but she showed tonight that she is a star player for Wales.
What pleased you about that one, Katie? Was it the fact that maybe a Wales in the past would have taken the foot off the gas after 2 goals, but they just carried on pressing? They wanted more and more.
I just think they were relentless tonight, and they didn't give Kazakhstan any breathing space. But like you say, in the past we've been happy to sit back and be happy with the 2-0, but they just kept believing the process, kept playing, you know, that possession-based football, but also mixing up. We've seen Wales be more direct as well, and you know, 6 goals is an impressive start.
And 2 for Kaylee Green. She'll be happy with that one.
Yeah, she'll be chuffed to bits. You know, she's been performing consistently for Brighton and Hove Albion, but actually she plays a little bit deeper for them. But yeah, a great headed goal here, and we know she's fantastic in the air. I mean, poor defender from Kazakhstan not committing to the short corner there, but you know what I've loved tonight is the celebrations of the players. I think you can tell that there's a difference in the atmosphere when there's fans in the crowd. She gets up well in front of her defender, and yeah, the reactions from the players tonight tell us everything about what the atmosphere and the mood is like in this camp at the minute.
Estonia next on Tuesday, a subplot, a manager that you two know very well.
Yeah, you know, we're going to be seeing Jarmo Makaton again, and it's going to be pretty much a similar game. You know, Wales will be expected to be dominant in possession, and it might not be 6 goals, it's away from home, so it's a different atmosphere, but they'll just, you know, have the same professional performance that we've seen tonight.
Well, look, we've enjoyed the game. We've very much enjoyed your company as well. You will be back with us on Tuesday night, and we hope, fingers crossed, that Wales can build on this performance and that they can get a step closer to those finals, because we've got 6 games coming up over the next few months. I wonder, can they get 6 points from the first 2? 3 in the bag already. We go again on Tuesday. Until then, good night.
The aim is simple, to reach Australia and New Zealand for the 2023 World Cup. and it all starts here in West Wales against Kazakhstan. And Wales in complete control now. Oh, what a shot and what a goal! And Wales kick off their campaign with an emphatic victory.